This week in the conversation, I have the honor to sit down and have a conversation with British-Bulgarian actor and comedian based in London. We're going to be talking about some of his movies and some of his theater shows also. But before we get into the video, I just want to remind everyone it's important to subscribe to CSMS magazine show, The Conversation. And if you do, don't forget to click the notification bell so that way every time a video is posted, it'll go directly into your portable. Remember, comment, like, and subscribe. So let's get started. Again, my name is Ardain Isma. I'm here with actor based in London, Miro Kokenov. We're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about some of his acting and some of the movies that he participated in. But before we get started, Miro, can you tell the audience of the SMS magazine who is Miro Kokenov?
Yes, thank you very much for the good introduction. Hello, everybody. So Miro Kokenov is an actor and a theater film actor working in London at the moment, mainly taking part in various TV production, film productions, and also because of the my origins and the way how you can get work here, I ended up producing my own theater show.
Wow, that's interesting. Is that the show we call the Burning Gadoka?
Yes, that's correct. That's the Burning Gadoka. I guess for the majority of people, they have no idea what is a gadoka. And this is a Bulgarian traditional instrument. It's a string instrument. It looks a little bit like a violin, but it has nothing to do with it. And the show is about a man who plays that instrument. It's a musician who is part of a orchestra in Bulgaria.
And the musician is Miro.
In this case, so when I read the play, because I didn't write the play. Raiko Baichev is the author of the play.
Okay.
And funny enough, the Gadoka player, it's originally in the play, it's the Gadoka player. There is no name for it, so it could be either
anybody.
Yeah, could be anybody. Yeah.
Okay. So which means this is a show that you created, right, Miro?
I initiated it. So
you initiated it.
Yes, because I didn't write the play. But I contacted the author. I spoke to him. He said, "Okay, you can do the performance with this play." Then I found a director, and put it together. And then I started organizing the gigs for me. That's how it worked.
Okay. Was it? Did you get a lot of success on the play?
I've got to. It was so. I created it like 3 years ago.
Okay.
That was before the pandemic, and then let's say in London, it's very challenging to produce a show, especially if you don't have good knowledge in marketing, which I didn't. I had to learn on the go because in London back in the day, every night you compete with another 200 shows. So every night there's 200 performances going on.
Okay.
And because my performance it is about this Bulgarian character, Bulgarian instrument.
Okay.
So I was aiming to get a lot of the Bulgarian community in London. So that worked well. And I also did a few festivals. I did Brighton Festival, I did Edinburgh Festival, I did another festival of Clapham Festival in London.
Okay. Okay.
So, and that was received very well. So I got good reviews from
Reviews
there.
on that. Okay, that's
Yeah,
great.
so I'm quite happy with how it was.
With the result.
No,
Okay.
it was accepted, especially because when we're making it, we were worried that because it talks a lot about Bulgarian culture and about this instrument, we weren't sure if this is going to, get through, the barrier, the cultural barrier. But the play is written very universally, and so actually, no matter where you're from, you get the idea what is going on, the sarcasm, the irony in the play.
Right.
So that was, it's really, actually, I was really happy when I see that this worked. So yeah, I would say I'm quite happy with.
I can imagine how, as a comedian, how you spice the show. You can make people laugh all the way to their ears.
Yeah, it's you're right, because it's a very tragic comedy show, and usually you understand that people got you in the first 2 minutes. The first 2 minutes you always get a reaction, so that means okay, they're with me. Because sometimes you don't get the reaction. It's a bit, you have to fight for it. You have to fight with the audience in order to get to them. Not fight, but work harder.
So what happens, in a particular situation like this, past 5 minutes, still no reaction? So you begin to sweat on stage?
Yeah, this is a moment where you have to be conscious and actually not panic, because there are different audiences.
Okay.
And I had performances where I had maybe one reaction throughout the whole show.
Okay.
But then I finished, and they come after the show. They come to me and say, "That was a great show. Thanks so much. We enjoyed it very much." I was like, "Why didn't you react?" And they're like, "We didn't want to disturb you."
Wow.
And I was like, "Okay, great," but yeah. And once you get used to this, you know what you're doing, and basically you keep working on it, and then at the end you find out whether it was successful or not. So you don't know until the end, because if you start pushing it, trying harder to make it funny, it falls flat. That's what happens sometimes.
Well, you don't want to do that. You want to keep with the script, with the style.
Yeah.
Okay, with the flow. Now, let me ask you a question. Let's go to Yellow Days.
Yes.
Now, how did that project come to be about?
It was an interesting project. So this was when, while I was a student, and the director, she was really conscious about environmental issues at the time.
Okay.
Also about the propaganda that government sometimes initiate in order to get their agenda through.
Okay.
And it was a film about the end of the world, basically.
Really?
The Yellow Days, yeah. And I was playing that character, the sandwich man, who was, so if you watch the film, you get the idea that he's hired by the government in order to spread the idea of these yellow days, of the end of the world.
Like a doomsday scenario?
Sorry?
Like a doomsday scenario?
Yes.
Okay.
And so she was very conscious about it, and actually it was very the film was political, environmental, which was something that by that time I didn't haven't taken part in something like it, and it was a very interesting project, very exciting project for me.
Okay, now let me ask you a question. When we're talking about government, are we talking about the Bulgarian government that is being targeted at this point, or any government at this point?
I think she wasn't very particular about it, but I think she was aiming at any government.
Okay.
But you know, if the audience would probably, you know, accept the UK government because that was, you know,
That's
filmed
where,
in
yeah.
UK.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's where we were students. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, but I you know, I would say it could be any government, really.
Could be any government.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, so the project, when it was released, the release date for the Yellow Days, how did you feel? Because this is a project that you have invested a lot in it.
Well, you know, with all the premieres, the release days, you know, you always wait to see how it's going to be accepted.
Right.
So you feel nervous. Well, I would say I wouldn't. It's not that type of nerve that you have with a theater premiere, because you've already done the job there. Maybe you could see what you've done. You know, if you're close with the director, you can see the film, and then you know the result. You know the result. So it's rather, let's say, if your opinion is, yeah, that's good, you know, I'm, you know, happy with this project, you want to see if the audience is going to get the same message, you know, they're gonna feel the same as you do.
Right.
So that's why I'm saying it is different, you know, the premiere of a film and a premiere of a theater performance.
Oh, okay, I got you. Now I remember when in our communication you told me that Yellow Days, yes, but the other movie, Refunds and Returns, it's a kind of movie, it was just a contractual kind of thing. It wasn't really a movie that you would consider as your baby. What's the difference between the two?
The difference between the two is, once it's a project that you can, they're both projects that you can accept, but let's say one you do it for the money, the other one you do it because you're interested in it.
Right.
Of course, you know, when the project you're interested in, it's paid, it's great. That's the best option.
Okay.
But sometimes you know, especially while you're at university, you know, you want to experiment. And so let's say for me, the Yellow Days was an experiment with this type of film, while the Refund and Return, it was actual job that you're hired and you have to do it. And, you know, it's quite straightforward. Mm-hmm. While with Yellow Days, we had a discussion with the director, what she's aiming to, what's her objective, what I can contribute towards it. Right. And then you have, I mean, you do it with any project, but with this one, it was more flexible.
More flexible.
Yeah, I mean we have more time. While with the other project is you turn on the day and you have to do it. You have, let's say, 5 hours. And whatever you have done before that as a research for the character and everything, you know, you have to do it in these 5 hours. You don't have, let's say, extra 2 hours to go to do a bit of research and come back with a different idea. You either have to do it on the spot, or you have to do it straight away.
Okay. So growing up in Bulgaria, when did you realize that you were going to be an actor?
Oh, that's a very good question. You know, it would be silly to say I always wanted to be, but let's say maybe it came to me quite, you know, fairly late.
Very late?
Okay. Very late, yeah. I had the interest in something creative. So it's a funny story, actually. When I was in the kindergarten, and, you know, we're in the kindergarten and the teacher goes around in the circle and asks, okay, what do you want to be when you grow up? And the teacher was asking, you know, us. Yeah. So on my turn, I said I want to be a circus performer. I don't know, you know, I haven't got much, I cannot remember why I wanted to be a circus performer, but everybody was saying, you know, I want to be an astronaut, a driver, a doctor, a scientist. And then I came out as a circus performer. So I'm not very far from it now. But I realized I wanted to be, an actor. It was maybe when I was 18.
Okay.
Then it was my turning point. I don't know. I probably was in a vacuum where I didn't know what to do with my life, and I had to rethink my life, and that's where I decided, okay, I want to try this, and then I tried it, and I fell in love, and since then it's been part of my life.
Man, let me ask you a question. So what was your parents' reaction? Because I know I am from a very traditional conservative family where they all expect their children to grow up and graduate from university and get a degree in medicine or in engineering. These are the traditional ones. But when you informed your parents this is exactly what you want to do, what was their reaction?
Okay, I wouldn't say it was like, oh yeah, great. It wasn't very positive. They were more neutral. They didn't say much. They probably thought that, okay, I'll try and then I'll give up on it.
Okay.
So they let me try it.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't say they weren't very supportive, but they weren't stopping me, which I'm grateful for.
Okay.
And so eventually, when they saw that that's my passion, I got the full support from them.
You are, wow.
Yeah. So I managed to win them over.
Oh, that's interesting. Now, since we are about the end of our conversation, is there any new project in the work?
At the moment, not in the line. I'm getting a lot of auditions. I'm also doing voiceover. I started doing voiceover like last year, so I bought equipment, and I was actually part of a fairly big game that it's going to be released soon now. It was released on, I think, on only on for computers, but now it's going on PC, Xbox, Switch, all the platforms.
Okay.
So I was a very light bending rich guy. It's like a very so rich guy that people, when they see him, because people in the game are very poor, he's so rich that they imagine that the light around him bends. So yeah. So again, basically, because of the lockdown situation, I've been doing more voiceovers over the last few months. But I've done a couple of auditions last couple of weeks. I'm still hoping that I may hear from some of them, but nothing in the line at the moment.
Okay. So that means you hope maybe post-COVID you might be able to be more active and going back into theater and with the Gadoka.
Yes. Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to this. Yeah, it's still, I believe that the show still has its life and I can continue performing it. Because, London, it's you have big potential for audience, so I can reach for more people.
Okay. But when you perform, do you have a diverse audience? You have across the spectrum, you have British-Bulgarian and British, all kinds of, like a mix kind of audience?
It's a mix. And because in the description I specify this is about a musician, I usually get a lot, musicians that they come to see it, and they're like, and they get the humor in it very much because they probably have been in similar situations. Because he's talking about some issues with the orchestra, that somebody forgot an instrument and they had to steal an instrument from another band, and it's like it's like a funny story.
Okay. So is there anything you would want to tell a viewer out there who would want to embark upon a journey of becoming an actor or a comedian like you? What lesson would you give?
Well, I think being positive and keep trying what you want to do, despite that you might not get the results right at the moment. It takes time. That this is for everything, but follow what you want to do and don't give up on it. Persistence. That's probably the main the main skill that you need. Actually, you don't have to have it, you have to build it up.
Exactly, I got you. My last question, Miro, do you have an actor or an actress whom you consider as your best, your preferred individual?
I usually I have many actresses and actors that I really like, and I try to I'm inspired by them. I wouldn't say by the best, because it's really hard to define something like the best, because in certain role, certain film, that person did this and it was amazing. But in the other different circumstances, different role in the theater, the other person did something else. So I wouldn't say the best, but there are many. I do have inspirations that I learn from. Yeah, definitely.
But no name, you can't call.
Oh, so many. John Malkovich, Ralph Fiennes, Judi Dench. Karen Mirren. So yeah, there are many great actors out there.
Okay, that you like. Any American actor? Any Hollywood actor that you?
Jack Nicholson, of course.
Jack Nicholson. Okay.
Dustin Hoffman.
Okay.
Yeah. So these are the ones that just pop up like the more.
Right. Every time you think about an American actor. Okay. Anything, any other thing that you would like to say to the viewers?
I just, I hope that, our interview, they can learn something from the interview. I'm grateful for, thank you very much for having me. It's a great opportunity, to share my experience with the viewers, which is great. So yeah, thank you very much for, for having me as somebody who can share experience with.
With that, I'm going to say it's been such a pleasure to sit down and have such a wonderful conversation with actor and comedian Miro Kokenov from London.